Okay.
Okay.
Got the.
It says we're going live.
Yep.
It says
Yep,
we're
yep,
going
yep.
live. It says we're here.
It does. Oh, you know what I'm missing?
I do know what you're missing now. Also, Lola's over here to the side, snuffling and rolling. I
Yeah,
don't know
she is.
if the microphone is strong enough to pick that up. I'm a little paranoid. Are we actually here? Can people hear us? I don't know.
It's a crapshoot.
The way the past few weeks have gone, the way this week has gone, the way just things have gone, I'm just not going to be surprised. I'll be like, yeah, that tracks. Are we a hot mess express and nothing is working the way that we planned or think that it should? Okay, thanks. Glad that could be manifested, I guess.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, good. We have been confirmed as being here.
Validated.
Okay.
Okay.
Website security ad. I'm glad somebody's getting security. You have like a gaming ad on yours, it looks like.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a fancy ad.
It is. Ant fights.
Okay. So this is not a typical episode live stream, but we're going to treat it like it is. Hello.
Hi.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Loving BDSM, where we help Kingsters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our weekly live stream where we record our audio podcast. The podcast hits all major podcast apps every Friday. We are here 5 minutes early. Normally, this is where I go, blah, 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 idle chit-chat, timestamps, yada, yada. The whole fucking thing is idle chit-chat
today.
Will we whine, complain, explain more in a few minutes? Sure we will. I'll even try, if it helps keep folks organized, I'll try to put some timestamps in. I actually am grateful when a video has timestamps, so like I get it when people like those. But I can't tell you fast forward if you want to skip the idle chit chat. I can only warn you that if you don't like idle chit chat, this is not the episode for you. You will not enjoy this. Our feelings are not hurt for anybody who nopes out and goes, yeah, I don't want to sit through however long of idle chit chat. So yeah, and I see a whole bunch of lovely people who are here, so I'm gonna say hi to folks. Hi Tayshu, hi JB, hi Silent Wing. I too am in a bad mood, so let's fucking go. Hi Eva, hi Candace. Candace, if I start hearing y'all, I think I have bigger questions and issues to deal with. Hi Rara, hi Junie, hi Mr. Spock. Hi, Brittany. I'm scrolling. Okay. So.
And see, I do hear you because I assign voices to the chat.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be too chaotic for my brain. That's not true. I think on like a really subconscious level, I do, but it's more that I assign a vibe to each person, and the vibe only gets stronger the more somebody is like in chat and comments, and like I get a sense of what I think their voice is, but it's not the sound of a voice, it's more of the attitude of a voice. Yeah. So
I need to silence my phone.
Okay, you're expecting a whole bunch of calls?
Well, no.
Just in case. Hi, Kitty Rose. And Silentwing is right. JB did. Silentwing points out that JB, you do know what some people sound like.
True.
And that does like add to it for me as well. If I know what you sound like, of course I hear that, but I still get a vibe. I get it. I don't.
That's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now Junie does ask the appropriate question. What does Junie sound like to us? Upbeat and peppy and perky is the vibe. I know that's probably not your vibe all the time, but that is the vibe I get. Yes, rah. Some of our voices.
Then there are the brassy voices, yes.
Look, I'm a little annoyed at the conversation you've been having in Discord.
I'm sure you are.
Well, and I think there's a so the conversation in Discord has been about whether I am a brat or not, and I'm a little tired of it getting assigned to me. I really am, and I think this is it really, in a non-serious way, because this is typically a serious thing to talk about. It's about intent versus impact. Because it is genuinely never my intention to be bratty. Like, that's not what I'm setting out to do. And for me, being a brat there's some intention behind it. Now, it's probably not true for everybody who claims that label and that title. I don't claim it. Like, I just don't, because at my core, if you had to like open me up like a fucking jawbreaker, in the center is all my trauma, who desperately just wants to be a good girl and is trying to get validated and told that she's really amazing and special and doing all things right. That's my fucking like center. That is my absolute core. And so when I get labeled as brat, I get very cranky, because I'm like, but I'm also self-aware enough, some might say too much, to know how I come across. Mm-hmm. Like, to know sometimes after the fact how shit I say lands. The moments I am coming across bratty, and that's what people are clocking me as, are me in some of my best moods. Like when I am feeling the goodest. Like I am upbeat and peppy and joking around and having a good time. And so when that gets labeled bratty, I'm like, I know brats are having a good time. Why else would they be doing it? But like, that's just, I don't like that for myself. But I'm also very grouchy and cranky today. So please take me seriously, but also don't take me seriously.
One day you'll step up and just own it. And, all will be right with the universe. Balance will be found once more.
I love you so much. I need you to stop. Like, it bothers me. Here's why. And I didn't mean to jump into a topic. We hadn't done like an air quote announcements or anything. We'll get there, because this is on my fucking mind. Here's the thing about that.
Okay.
Fuck, I gotta try and grasp it before I lose my train of thought. Oh,
hurry.
Oh, fuck. So, in my mind, and I am not trying to speak for anybody else who's like, I'm a brat and I love it, and here's why. Like, I'm not. I don't know your experience. I'm not trying to speak for it. In my mind, when I'm being called a brat, mm-hmm. the part of me that is the good girl and craves that is being ignored. And is being negated. Now, is that what's happening? Probably not. But for whatever reason, for right now, the way my mind sees that is that. Mm-hmm. And that's why I reject it.
Okay.
What the fuck is happening right here? Oh my God. Sorry.
She's feeling a little verklempt. Just talk amongst yourself.
Oh my God. What the fuck
here's a
just
topic.
happened? I've also
Rhode Island. It is neither a road nor an island.
I've made sure we're completely demonetized. When you drop F-bombs in the first, nanosecond, that's what happens. What the fuck is wrong with me? Okay. I want to, oh!
Yeah, well.
Okay. We're going to pretend we're actually starting this so that you can hit the magic button.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so don't hit the magic button yet.
I'm not.
Okay. As you can tell, there's no fucking topic today. That's chaos. It's always chaos, but we try to corral the chaos. It's just, we'll probably talk some about what the hell's going on with us. But we needed a pressure-free kind of day. So also, we're both dealing with life. And didn't have a topic and didn't have the energy for a topic, nor do I have that level of focus right this second. I will soon, but just not right this second. And so we had to make the decision, do we just not stream/record at all? Or do we go and just be ourselves and do a giant bonus section? And we chose this. One, we like to pretend we might be professionals. And two, we get a lot out of just being here and hanging out in whatever capacity that is, and just chatting about whatever comes up. And so while we're doing this for you, we're mostly doing this for ourselves this week. This one's for us.
Yeah.
We're hoping to be re-energized when we're done here. I didn't mean to get emotional. I don't know what the fuck happened. I do because I'm my own personal therapist, but also I don't. So there we go.
Well, we sat down not fairly early, but
not early for us.
No, not
late
early for us. Late for us, but we sat down and we hammered out a lot of decisions.
Yes, we'll get
morning.
to that because
Yeah.
I hadn't even gotten through our intro. The intro is all of that to say, hi, if somehow you enjoy this, we love a thumbs up. If we haven't scared you off and you're not already, please consider subscribing. Please consider subscribing.
And once you subscribe, ring that notification bell to get updates of new content.
And if you actually want to like help us do this and be more a part of this and to like have those kinds of conversations and discords that give me the feelings, you can join our Patreon. That's sort of our inner circle kinky community. Y'all here are our kinky community. Patreon is like an inner circle of that where there's just more. There's a Discord, there's videos, there's live streams, there's me going on rants more so than I do here. There's extra perks. This Friday is our bi-monthly game night for our $10 and up members. Lola has thoughts and feelings. She thinks you should join our Patreon as well. So yeah, like we do stuff, and also our Patreon community supports a lot of the work that we do. So that is my rant. I've lost my husband / daddy who's supposed to hit a magic button, but I'm gonna fill time now because he's wandered out into the backyard. It's serious. He put his shoes on, y'all. We'll hit the magic button when we hit the magic button. So is everything okay? Were you making sure there's a fence still standing over there? Yeah, we've had a lot of like rough weather, and yeah, it would not surprise me if a fence panel comes down, which means then Lola can't be in the backyard by herself at all. Okay, there we go. You can hit the magic button. Will you be turning on the fan?
I will.
And then there'll be a hum in the background? Right.
There will.
Okay.
And there is.
Okay. Yeah. I went on a rant. I'm sorry, podcast listeners, you didn't get to hear my rant. If you are curious about my rant, I'm not going to try and repeat it. It's like the first 10 minutes of the live stream.
Yeah.
I got myself all kinds of worked up. But it means that now there are things in the live chat that I want to comment on. So podcast listeners, for context, you might want to go listen to the first 10 minutes of the live stream. But Tishu was pointing out that his wife believes in malicious compliance, like following the I could never. I could want to. I'm devious enough to think about it.
Yeah.
In the action, the validation I get from being a good girl, submissive, and doing things, air quote, right, not just malicious compliance, right, but like well and right. I could think it. I could tease that I might. I could never. Looking for loopholes is only fun to me in verbal exchange, not in actual life. I just can't do it.
There was a time, especially in the beginning of our relationship, you used to take gleeful joy
at finding the loopholes,
in picking apart the loopholes,
because it's a mental exercise. But have you noticed in our 10 years together, I have never acted on a loophole I found.
No, you haven't. No.
I'll point it out for you so you know it exists and you can close it, okay? Now, will I tease the absolute fuck out of you because I found the loophole? Because I feel smart. I feel so smart in that moment. But I've
like
never
I said,
acted on it.
there is such gleeful joy in your face.
It's a mental exercise.
Yeah.
It's a wow, I figured out something, and I noticed this before somebody else did. I also get a lot of validation from being the smartest person in the conversation. Not always. Like, I don't walk around going, I know things more than other people. I actually enjoy learning things from people I respect or I'm curious about. I'm like, oh, wow, I never thought of that perspective. I really like that. But could I go back to the childhood trauma on that? Probably. I know the parts of my early life that influence how I see those things and how I behave. And to some extent, I could probably go through like some serious intensive therapy and get the fuck over it. But you know what? It most obviously works for my life, so I have no like desire to change those parts of myself. But that's where I get very cranky when somebody labels me brat. Because I can have the verbal sparring with you and point out your loophole and point out where you might not have thought of the thing. I'll think of it for you. I don't ever take advantage of it. I fucking tell you.
Yeah.
And then if I see a loophole or I see a way that I could technically be doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but not really, and I could argue that point, and now that's not fun to me. For you to tell me, baby girl, do this, right? I'm either going to be real with you and go, I can't, and here's why. Or I'm going to be stressed out because I should tell you that I can't, but I'm going to try to do it anyway. Or I'm going to joyfully go fucking do the thing. Like one of those three options most of the time. Pick one, right?
Yeah.
But I'm still going to do it to the best of my fucking ability, regardless of how pissed off I am at you.
Now,
so that I get the validation and I know in my head I did what I was supposed to do.
Now, see, Princess Rara said something that resonated with me, and you know, maybe this is something you need to think about. She identifies as a good girl brat.
Sure, I get that.
And I think you could easily fall into that too.
Maybe so, but titles and labels are so personal.
True.
The term that is most comfortable for me is sassy, because it's all verbal. It's
Yeah.
all verbal. It's never in my actions.
True.
Never once have I don't even think I've ever gone playfully. No. When I playfully say red, you know the fuck I mean that
Yeah.
shit. I'm just saying it playfully because I'm going for the laugh. But you know I'm serious. You know I mean that because and I'm not saying that other people can behave the way I behave and even think the way I think and not use the term brat for themselves. Of course they can. This is just how I see it on a deeply personal level, and apparently why I have strong emotions about being labeled a brat. And it's weird because it's not that I think bratting is bad or there's something wrong with it. I absolutely identify most with other submissives who definitely call themselves a brat. I think it's because I can identify with the fun and the intention, but I'm still over here going, but I could never follow through. I am the epitome of all talk. Okay. I talk good game. No. At the end of the day, I want the approval. I think it would be fair to say, oh, that's an intense praise kink. Maybe so. But I feel validated in myself, and I feel good about myself when I do a good job or when I do the thing I'm asked to do, or I feel a sense of accomplishment about that goes beyond being praised. Like, I know that I'm your good girl, even if you don't fucking say it, because I know I did a good job. Now, could I, with an expensive amount of therapy, look into why that is? Can I pinpoint the moments in my childhood where, I could see where that might have started, and then it's whatever my brain wiring is that's intensified that, like, that's all complicated and, you know, whatever. Absolutely. But like I said before, at the core, my absolute center is I want approval, I want validation, and I want to believe I did a good job. And good job is so subjective and nebulous. Like, I can't define that. But if it's my definition of what it means for me to be my best as a submissive partner, especially a service submissive, that's who I am at my center. So, there. So. Oh, Tracy said in live chat, I can never be a brat without feeling guilty. I'd have to ask permission to do that. Yeah, I kind of feel that. Verbally, expressing my thoughts, so much sass. Because I live in a sarcastic font. Like, that's just, when I'm comfortable, when I'm super, super comfortable, the snark. Just, yeah, so, yeah. there we are. This is an episode about nothing, but we did we go deep for a few minutes? And is the live chat lighting the fuck up because people have opinions? Absolutely. I'm very comfortable with how I see myself. Like, I absolutely am comfortable being sassy. I'll even take brassy, because I understand that for people who see snark and sass as potentially disrespectful, and there have been times when you're like, you crossed that line,
you stepped over a line,
whoop, that toe went over the line, and then I have to either backtrack it, or do I sometimes try to argue my way out, like we are in Legally Blonde and I somehow think I have got my Harvard Law degree. Yes. But when I think about actions and I think about my intentions, and again, intent versus impact is definitely legit, but yeah, I actually think of myself as a service submissive first. Because my baby girl side, okay, when I'm sad and upset, she's very pouty and whiny, and but that comes out more when I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
And it's visible and it's present, and I can feel it when I'm in a good mood. I am a service submissive every fucking day, regardless of fucking mood. The sheer amount of shit I do when I am not in the mood to do it.
I know.
So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway. So what the hell are we doing here, and what the hell happened? One thing that could be considered an announcement, it's not. We have no announcements this week. The whole come join our Patreon was it. We had to make the decision, as difficult as it was, because I think we should have made the decision last week, and we really procrastinated. We are not going to South Florida for the vendor event that we had talked about previously. We just can't make it happen.
No,
it's not to the level that an expectation we hold for ourselves, not in a way that would feel good, not in a way that we could even show up as our best selves. Quite frankly, I was so worried about how, with everything that's been going on and that is going to continue to go on, and how tired we've been, I was like, how are we going to drive home safely?
Right.
Like, because we knew that would probably be a come home at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, after we left at like 6 o'clock the morning before. We just could not pull it together. I think, and I said this to you the other day, part of the reason we cannot pull that together is because after we agreed to do it, and while we were prepping for it, your sister was finally ready to do the stuff with your mom's estate, and neither of us is complaining about that.
No.
But the timing was just such that...
Right.
And we've had some other things coming up that are eating away at our time. Like thinking that the 17-year-old was established in an apartment, and then now we're switching gears, and so we've spent time dealing with that, which has not been a lot of time. It's been more a mental energy spent towards it than physical time. The stuff with your mom's house has been good. I just keep wanting to reiterate, we're very happy it's happening.
Yeah, no, we're very happy
that
that's happening. Steps are moving forward on both sides, which I'm very grateful for. The timing just absolutely sucks. No, I'm not complaining about the fact that it's moving forward. I reiterate, I'm grateful for that. But yeah, it's just the timing.
And Silent Wing asked in the live chat if this was the vendor event we'd put in our Kinkery newsletter. Yes, it is. Yeah. And I'm now going back and forth of, do I put out an email that says, oh, that vendor event we talked about? Because I don't know how many people really would have cared and how many people it would have affected. And I know. I am going to put it up on the shop's social media. But
I mean, we went down to my mom's last Saturday at this point. Yeah, it was last Saturday.
I've lost all meaning of time. I don't know. Yes.
It started out wonderful. We had a white knuckle ride.
Oh, that was a torrential downpour.
Because of the weather. We put in a full day's work
14. We were gone 14 hours.
Yeah.
Ultimately, but yes, we put in a full day's work.
It was 7 p.m. when we finally turned around and headed home.
Yeah. I had been saying the whole day, I don't really want it to be that late, but
Yeah.
that's how it worked out.
And that's how it worked out. Sunday, we had to unload the van with what we brought back.
And that's where we discovered an expensive mistake.
Yeah.
Do you feel like telling that story?
Might as well. It at this point, it's so freaking hilarious that...
Yeah, we have to laugh because
Yeah.
the alternative just it doesn't fit us. So, JB's mom had a barely used, nearly brand new mattress set that, at glance, we went, that'll work. That's the one we want. And we've waited a year for it to even be like to go in and get it, whatever. But we knew we could not use our 2009 168,000 mile RAV4 to get it home.
Right, no.
So we were like, we will rent a cargo van. And we knew that we were taking some other things out of the house. No other pieces, like no furniture. So the other things could have fit in the old raggedy RAV4.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. But not a mattress set. So we rent a cargo van, a couple $100 to do it because mileage and expense and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we rent it. We get down there. We load it up. We spend the day just doing the grind of going through somebody's house and like discovering things about them you did not know.
Yeah.
And deciding these things that were important to this person's life don't have enough value to stay. Let's donate. Let's, get rid of things, emptying things. And it's mentally and emotionally, that's tough. That's tough for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I get a remove from it because I never had that kind of relationship, but that's your mom. And so there's just a lot of it. We load the cargo van with the mattress set. We're like, it's too late Saturday night. We're like, Sunday, Father's Day.
Yeah.
Like, guess what you get to do on Father's Day? We take apart move out our mattress set, which is old as the hills, needs to be replaced. We did manage to make it so that our bed frame no longer squeaked. That was nice. We had to tighten everything.
And we cleaned up a year plus of cat hair that had
Lots
built
of
up under there.
vacuuming. It was
productive.
productive.
It was productive in its own way.
So then we manhandle the mattress set onto the bed frame. And that's when we discovered
Oh,
it's
a full size, not queen.
Now, for anybody, any know-it-all bullshit thing that wants to come to us and go, well, you should have measured. Well, no fucking shit. Like, the
Right.
moment we realized it, we were like, why didn't we measure and double check? Because it's unlike us to not triple check ourselves. I think anybody who's reasonable could figure out the reasons we probably didn't do it. We know we should have done it.
Right.
We just looked at each other and went, oh my fucking God, how can the two most careful people on the fucking planet not have measured?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't. So then we're like, well,
now what?
First we were sad because we did not have a new mattress set.
Right.
We had been very excited we were going to get a new mattress set.
Yeah.
And then second, we're like, what the fuck do we do? We did make a plan.
We do.
It's being put to good use.
Yep.
The very tall 13-year-old is getting a bigger bed as soon as we have the fucking bandwidth. I guess we could do that this weekend.
Right.
Because we're not going to
South Florida.
Oh, God.
Excuse me.
So, yeah. And that's only the second what the fuck moment from this past week.
Yeah.
We had our own, another one that's separate from that.
We have just been running in so many different directions, trying to do too many different things, and it has started catching up with us.
Yeah, that is absolutely the case. Too many things going on, some of which we control and are like chose to do, and then things that we don't control, because that's how that goes. And it's and we are not able to handle the sheer amount of shit.
Right. And
so
the weekend took a pretty good physical toll.
Oh my God, and I don't feel like I did near as much as you, and certainly I didn't have the emotional toll, and we are still like physically exhausted from it.
And one of the reasons why we sat down this morning and had quite a frank discussion about things, I went to bed exhausted last night. literally exhausted. Could not keep my eyes open. Fell
Yeah, I
asleep.
was the same way. I fell asleep on the couch.
You
before
were
we
the
went to
same
bed.
way. I woke up feeling just as tired as I did
I did too, and
when I
apparently
went to bed.
I was feeling like just some kind of way because you actually got up like a responsible adult, and I went no, and I
Yeah.
rolled over and I slept for another hour. I don't do that anymore, but I did it today. You know, it's funny. I had been meaning to sit down with you and go, we have to decide some things because I think what had happened to both of us. One, we're both just tired. Two, I know this happened to me, and based on our conversation, I think it happened to you. We got so far in our heads about all the things we air quote we were shoulding all over ourselves that we should be doing, that then we could make no decisions. It was part analysis paralysis and part just overwhelm. Like there's too much. You know, you have to do it all, and you can't make a clear decision on where to start, right? And I know I was feeling that way. I was sensing that from you because your vibe was not your usual vibe. Like I don't always know what I'm feeling, but I know when I'm feeling something. So I wandered about the house. Like I had breakfast. I was like, I need to take a shower. Anybody who can actually see on camera, this is almost dry, but not quite washed hair. And it's not usually how I present on camera. You know, I was like, I've got this thing to do and this thing to do, and if we're getting ready for this, and I finally went, we gotta just talk about it because I don't even know what to do. And what I appreciate, and I absolutely take advantage of this, is you being the decider means when I can't decide, I just go ask you the question.
Right.
And I don't know how other subs feel about this, but sometimes, man, I fucking love that because I bear the responsibility of what we're going to do because I'm like a legal adult human who has to like take responsibility for my own choices in life, but also we have this relationship where sometimes I can just go, but what do you want to do? And I can feel like I'm not shouldering the responsibility.
Yeah.
That's not the reality, but you know, that's what it feels like. So but what was funny was that's how I knew you were stuck where I was stuck of, well, this is what we ought to do, and this is what we're supposed to do, and this is what we should do, because I had to go, okay, let's cut through that. And I just went, and this is what I love sometimes about being a submissive who doesn't have to make a decision.
Yeah.
What do you want? Like, if you took the shoulds and ought tos and people expects out of it, what the fuck do you want? And had your want been opposed to my subconscious, I wasn't ready to decide what I wanted I would have argued in favor of what I want, but we aligned. It was perfect. You were like, I want to not have this Sunday show. That's what I want. And I went, okay, this sucks, and we've never backed out of anything we've ever said we were going to do, but guess what? There's a first time for everything. But you know what? We had been unsure we would be able to afford to even go, and I did a nuclear option financially, and ta-da, we can do it. But I hadn't prepaid for anything. I had the only thing we paid for was our vendor spot, and in the email I was like, we know that's not refundable. Don't worry about it. We're not asking about that.
Yeah.
We're just really sorry we can't make it because we really want to be there. But undoing the car rental, that was easy. The things we purchased, we needed for restocks anyway, so nothing is a waste, that the money we've put in. But there was more money we were going to need to put in, but we literally didn't have the time to buy it was just a lot. We overcommitted.
It was a lot. We overcommitted, and part of it was because too many things started coming up at the same time. You know, we had talked about through the month of June, we would work on weekends, you and I together, to build up the inventory. And with the way things have been playing out, we were not able to do that.
This wasn't happening.
And the funny thing is, and I told Kayla this after we had talked, I told her, I said, I was glad you brought that up, because if you hadn't, I was going to. Because too much weighing on each of us in all this. And you know, when you asked me, you know, do you see yourself going to this show this Sunday? And my immediate answer, was
Yeah,
no.
it was pretty emphatic. There was no. The only hedging you did was well, we ought, and I went blah, 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 blah. No, scratch that.
Yeah.
Go to the core. Like, if you could just go with what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And, let's be real. We don't always get to go by what we feel. I mean, that would
Right.
be a nice life to just make all decisions based on what feels right. Sometimes you get to make those decisions, and sometimes you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I've got obligations, and I need to meet these obligations for these reasons, right? This could have been one of those moments. I mean, I think some people would argue, well, you do have an obligation. Blah, blah, blah. We're weighing obligations. It's like, if we do our best to prepare and go, we are giving up energy for something else. And there are things we
Right.
have to put our energy to that are very personal.
Yeah.
The dealing with your mom's house, the
Right.
stuff that we're dealing with kids right now. Each kid has their own thing that they're going through that we're the support for, or we're the ones making it happen, or whatever. And in ways that we don't talk about, because our kids deserve probably more privacy than we allow them, but still, that is a factor, that's taken up a lot of time. And so it was like, there's a part of me who I tend to be pretty rigid about stuff like that. If I agree to do, because goes back to what we were talking about at the top of the live stream part, all that childhood trauma I should go to therapy for. The inner voice in my head that talks about what I should do, what I ought to do, what I'm supposed to do. If you agree to do a thing, you honor your agreements. That comes from my childhood, from my dad. My dad would, he firmly believed, and way too rigidly, that he would say your word is your bond. And I do, to a certain extent, agree with that. I think that does not always match up to real life.
Right.
And so if you say you're going to do something, you do it. And I'm like, yes, but not to the detriment of
Right.
my family. What the fuck?
Right. To not to the detriment of your family and your own well-being.
Right. And I've done, God knows, 43 years on this planet. I have certainly done plenty of things to, quote, keep my word, out of a sense of obligation, that I allowed it to be done to the detriment of myself. And sometimes I'll still do that. Will I do things I agreed to do, or I said I would do, or that I feel are right, that are the detriment to myself to take care of my child? Absolutely. To take care of JB? Fuck yeah. But not every decision is that kind of decision.
No.
And it's like, and in my head I went, they may never allow us back because we're backing out, and I have to accept that, right?
Yeah.
Because in 6 months they might do it again, and we might be in a better position, and we might want to try and do that vendor event.
Right.
And they might go, no, you backed out at the last minute, sucks to suck, you can't come back. And I have to accept that. And I'm like, you know what? I can accept that, because the alternative of what I foresee would have been required to make it happen on Sunday, on top of everything else, I could see bad outcomes for that.
Yeah.
And so, ta-da.
Yep.
But,
So.
yeah. But you know what? Here's what's funny. This is how I know we've been going through it and not together. Like, we've been in our own bubble, in our own head, and we both definitely get stuck in our own head all the time. The moment we had the conversation and a decision was made, I thought I'd experience immediate relief. I did not experience immediate
nor did I.
I'm a little bummed, because usually when I know I've made a really good decision, I feel it, and this has all been delayed. But you and I were almost immediately, like, much more affectionate.
Yeah.
Very much like constant hugs, touching one another, just like the adorably cute but also kind of annoying staring at one another across the room with love in our eyes, like. And I'm curious, is it because of the way we made the decision, or just the decision that we made?
I think it's a combination of all of the above. Like I said, part of my mood this morning was because I wanted to bring that same topic up to you. You just brought it up first. The same thing was weighing on each other's mind. So, I think we don't feel a sense of relief because we still have
It didn't. Yeah, it didn't make any of the rest of the stuff go away.
It didn't make the rest of the stuff go away.
No.
There's still a lot going on. I have been having back and forth texts with my sister.
Have you? Oh yeah. Yes, because other things have come up, and it's not just about your mom's house. There's other. There's
stuff. Other things. I am trying to be supportive of her without immersing myself in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because it involves the parent you're no contact with.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So yeah, I am trying to be supportive. I'm not going to talk about what it is. It is a hot fucking mess that is coming to the surface on things. I am not going to dig myself into that quagmire.
No. But even the impact of supporting your sister is still a lot.
It's still a lot.
It's still draining.
Even just that, So, there is a small part of me that regrets stepping back from the show. But, what you said earlier, we could not, and I know it's not always possible to be at your best.
Sure.
All the time. But I think what we would have brought to the table would have been,
I think nobody would have known, but we would have known.
We would have known.
And I think that was,
yeah.
Like I am forever a recovering perfectionist, and I was making compromises in my head of, okay, we can make this work. We'll do it this way. It'll be like this. This will be fine. This will be okay. But even the process to get to what I would call half-ass, I mean,
yeah.
I just, I couldn't see how it was possible, and we could still feel prepared, and we could, better people than us maybe could have done it, but not us.
No.
So, no, but you're right. I don't feel the sense of relief. I think part of it is I hate disappointing others. And we signed up early. We were vendor number 2 or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. It sucks.
So, I think it is, for the best that we decided what we did. And now we just keep moving forward.
I think the best part of it not being great, is that we did it together. We were not at odds. Neither of us had to convince the other.
No,
we were
didn't.
Absolutely on the same page.
Yeah.
And that felt good because lately with everything going on, we are together in all of it, right? It's your mom's house. It's your sister's stuff.
Right.
It's technically, I hate saying this because after 10 years, he's your kid too, but it's my kid's stuff, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Part of that is being the default parent and just being the one doing the stuff, but it's still ours. But I had felt for a week or more, maybe longer, because what is time? I don't know, that we'd been in our own little bubbles.
Yeah. And aside from this past weekend when we, worked together at my mom's house, doing a lot of cleaning and going through a lot of that stuff, I have been on the sidelines dealing with a lot of the stuff with my sister myself. You have been dealing with a lot of, the stuff with the oldest yourself. And we've kind of been...
We've been existing in parallel.
Yeah. So, and that's just kind of been what it was. And I think physically, emotionally, mentally, we reached a breaking point.
Yep. Sunday, Father's Day, was the first time I felt as exhausted as we were. A little bit more normal, because we kind of took the day off from everything so we could pretend our responsibilities didn't exist. And then I got to do what I love to do, and I'm grateful that we could financially do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we went out to dinner, your choice.
Yeah.
And I was like, get the cocktail, drink the adult beverage. And then I'm just making decisions like, it's not usually my thing, but it's like when it comes to celebrations, birthday, Father's Day, anniversaries, you give me a lot of leeway to just make decisions if it's in support of a surprise for you.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew about the dinner because he chose the place. That was no big deal. He didn't know I was actually going to encourage him to get the cocktail.
Yeah.
And then we were leaving, and because he had the cocktail, I drove home, and I was like, oh, cool, I control it. Oop, I knocked the microphone. I control this. So I was like, do you want a coffee now? He's like, yeah, I want a coffee. And I was going to get donuts for everybody as like the dessert, because we didn't get dessert at the restaurant. And they were completely out of donuts.
They had no donuts.
The Dunkin' was in the parking lot, and I did it all mobile app because of course I fucking did. You mean I didn't have to talk to anybody to place my order? Yes. And so they had to refund me my money because I ordered a dozen donuts and they had no donuts. So they give me the cash, and I'm like, but I wanted to get dessert. It's Father's Day. This was supposed to be a surprise. Like, it would have been a surprise for 30 seconds, but still unexpected. But where the Dunkin' is in the parking lot of the Publix, and I'm like, oh, nobody has to come in with me. Nobody wanted to come in with me, not even JB. I whip around in that parking lot and pull into this so busy Publix. I'm like, what? Should more of y'all be celebrating with your dad? Like, what's happening here? It was very busy, but I walk in, and I had exactly enough it was like it was meant to be, enough in the refund in cash for a little mini, like, fancy looking chocolate cake. And this was a moment my inner baby girl had conflict. The cake I wanted to get was buttercream icing. I don't even know what the inside was. Was it vanilla? was it a yellow cake or a chocolate cake? I don't know. But it was brightly colored and was buttercream, and we all would have been shitting in Technicolor for 2 or 3 days. And that's the one I wanted. But then I saw this beautiful, it was a little mini cake. It's like 6 inches. Like 3 layers, but like 6 inches. And it's beautiful like kind of rosettes in chocolate fudge, and it's a chocolate, and it had a little chocolate covered strawberry on top. And I went, that's the one he would like. Kayla, it's his day. You need to get the cake. And I'm doing all this in my head while standing at the counter waiting for the person in the bakery to be able to help me. And the kids and the man are in the car, all on their phones, oblivious. What is mom doing right now? Nobody knows. And I have this inner turmoil war and go, get him the cake he would want. So then I put it at the back so nobody knows what the fuck I've done. I've been gone for like 15 minutes to get this cake come back. And then I just drive home like nothing, you know, do. And then everybody wants to scatter when we get home. Like, no! I have a surprise to show you people! And look, I was living my best fucking life during that. I was like, I fucking love that shit. Yeah, you can do surprises that don't cost money, but I like buying things for other people, but I also like feeling like I can afford to buy things for other people. So I was like, and it was $11.99 and I had $12 in cash. I almost did the benevolent keep the change. I went, no, every penny counts around here. Let me take my little 1 penny and change. But yeah, we ate on that cake for like 2 or 3 days. Yeah. It was good. Yeah. It was good.
And it was a wonderful cake.
Mm-hmm. It was really good.
Yep.
Taste you cash is right. Yeah, they gave me the refund, not back on my like Dunkin' app. Well, they handed me the cash, and then I walked that cash into the store and exchanged it for other goods. It's like, okay, I'll take it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that part was a good day. Like for like an afternoon, evening, I wasn't like mired down and like thinking about stuff. And all that meant was that we both kind of got that delay. And then Monday morning, for me, I don't know what was going on with you, because like I said, we've kind of been in our own bubbles. The kid was like, we got to do this thing, and I'm going to make this phone call, and I'm going to do this thing. And I'm like, okay, you do the things. I'm going to try and work over here. But yeah.
It was a delicious cake.
Christina asked what kind of cake was it. It was a chocolate cake with chocolate fudge icing.
Yeah.
It was beautiful too. Public cake is Publix cake, not public. I don't know what a public cake is, and I don't want to know. I think that would be terrifying. Publix cakes are I've never had a bad one. No flavor that I've ever had. I love their carrot cake. Holy fucking shit!
Yeah, they do have
shit out of their carrot cake.
Yep.
But yeah. Now I want more cake. But see, I need a cake with buttercream frosting. That's the cake I like. Thank you very much. Yeah. So yeah, it's been stressful because it always is. Like, life is just a constant stressor.
Yeah.
I think we're back in an ebb instead of being in a flow. But it's been really nice to have those moments like Father's Day. Even Saturday, for as tired as we were, we went and got lunch. We went to Wendy's. I was, again, you mean I can do this and not have to talk to anybody? I was able to use their order checkout thing, and then they somehow in front of my eyes lost our order. Nobody can figure out what happened. I don't think they made it. I think they thought they made it, but like they hit the wrong button. So you were like, I'll go sit down and wait, and I was like, that's fine, I'll stand up here and wait for our order. And they had this screen where it would have your name and it would say ready or in progress, and then when it was ready to pick up, it dropped to the bottom and say pick up. And I watched my name go from ready to pick up to gone, and I was still standing there waiting for somebody to walk forward and say my name with the food. So finally, after a couple minutes of realizing people who came in after us were getting their food, I was like, hi, where's my order? So wait for it to be remade. Finally come around, and I must have looked haggard. I walk by and I'm like, here, I finally got our food. You're like, where the hell have you been? I'm like, waiting for them to make it twice, apparently. I was like, but I was a stone in the fucking ocean because I planted myself in my spot to wait for, and people were trying to edge me out. They were trying to get too close. They were giving me weird looks. The turquoise hair does that too. Like, why won't you move? And I'm like, I can't move until I actually have food in my hands. This is where I live now.
And I was sitting at the table, and I was like, I need to go look for her. But the place had gotten so busy, I was afraid
we wouldn't
to
have
lose our table.
But we kept our good humor. Then, oh God, the worst decision of the day was what we were going to have for dinner, because I didn't want to be too late getting home to the kids. Like, something about it really bothered me, and I don't know why. The kids were fine. They would have been fine if we hadn't come home, quite frankly. The 13-year-old is at that stage where he's like, oh, you're leaving the house and I can stay here without you, thank God. The 17-year-old just doesn't give a shit because he's gonna go and do whatever, it doesn't matter. But I was like, I don't want it to be 11 o'clock when we rock up. Like, that bothers me. So we're going to go to like a sit down place, but we were filthy. We were covered in dust and sweat.
To toe.
Oh, and we had brought clothes to kind of throw on that would look better, but we didn't want to put those on our dirty selves. So then it was like, fine, I guess we're doing fast food, because we didn't want the one sit down place where I was like, if I go in dirty, I don't feel uncomfortable, because like I've seen working people like get off work and be just covered and still eat. I was like, but we didn't want that to eat. So we were back to fast food, and we're just like going up this road going, which place?
Yeah.
And you forgot what words we're trying to order. And I'm looking at this poor teenager who's like, just, what do you want? And I'm like, he would like, and just took JB's arm and like was like, shh, shh. He would like, and then I heard more. Yeah. Then I was like, do you want a cookie? And you were like, yeah, I'd like a cookie.
Right.
And then this poor teenager had to watch these two old people go, okay, is that an oatmeal raisin? Or is that a child? And then he goes, well, hold it up for me. He's like, we're the only customers in there. Yeah. He's like, I need these people to come on. I hold up a cookie. He goes, no, that's chocolate chip. And then I'm like, and I swear we're like the elderly. I'm like, okay. I almost said daddy, but I didn't. It's like, okay, do you want the chocolate chip? Right. I know that poor child was like,
he was traumatized.
What is wrong with these people? These damn old people. Yeah, it was like we had become senile.
We worked our freaking ass off all day.
We were like, what is food? What are words? How do you order? How do you pay? I don't know.
I mean, you started out going through. Well, we started out going through the last of the drawers in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. She has drawers everywhere.
Her drawers have drawers.
And every drawer to every cabinet is full.
Yeah.
Full to the brim.
And then once we got through that, then we kind of went our separate ways. You went into the closet to start going through clothes. And I sat down in her sunroom and started going through her desk.
You spent 8 hours going through a desk.
I know.
That's like literally what you did.
That desk was packed.
And all I could think was like I've done this enough times now in my family that I know this is pretty common, but I also think, will I be different when I'm that age, or will I be no different? Because the sheer amount of stuff you collect over a lifetime, and quite frankly, clearly at different points your mother has like purged and gone through and like gotten rid of stuff, because yes, we were finding things that dated back 20 years, but also she was 80, like 81 or something. So it's not everything. It was also that I see where you get this from. Lots of things have been considered important over her lifetime that then got stuck in a drawer to keep just in case, and then clearly never left that drawer.
Saw the light of day again, yeah.
Have I had a couple of moments where I've looked at him and gone, we really should be cleaning out drawers and closets more often, right?
Yeah.
My mom taught me that,
and we still have another desk to go through.
And 3 hutches.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff, yeah. We're going back July 2nd?
Yep.
It's a Sunday.
July 2nd, and then I am going back again on the 7th.
Am I going with you for that, or are you going by yourself?
I would like you to go.
We'll have to see how it works with the...
Yeah.
That is the meeting with the estate sale person.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah. I think we said all of this in the Friday night hangout on YouTube, but if you couldn't attend, now you get to hear. But if it sounds like a repeat, that's why.
That's why.
So, yeah. I hate sounding like a broken. No, that's not true. I don't always hate sounding like a broken record. I'm happy to sound like a broken record on things like communication skills, consent, risk mitigation, red flags, like that. I'm fine sounding like a broken record. But when it comes to our personal life, I do feel like probably for the past 2 years minimum, we absolutely are broken records. It's like just constant. This is a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just the time we're in personally, I mean, where this is a time where it's a very chaotic time, and maybe it's because we're in transitions, and some of those transitions are overlapping, like death of a parent is a transition in life. Kids growing up is just constant transition until some point where their transitions are not yours anymore. And so this is just a period of life, and it will get boring eventually. Or am I not capable of allowing myself to be bored? So even when things calm down, I'll find chaos to invite in. Or if this is just what life is like now, and I'm hoping it's not number 3.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit hoping I know it's me. You are absolutely capable of just sitting still and not doing anything, but doing quiet things, or kind of staying in a routine for a while, to the point that we've said it on the podcast before, of getting into ruts and me being like, we're in a rut. I however, am not currently capable of allowing that kind of peace and quiet, because I tend to go, but what's the next thing? Or, I'm a little bored. Or, look, I have this little bit of time to fill. Let's fill it with something. And part of me wants to not do that. Part of me prefers to do that, because then I feel kind of in control of the chaos, and so then it doesn't feel like chaos to me. Part of me is doing that grass is greener on the other side thing of, what would it be like to just like not be chaotic? But I know logically, based on who I have been for 43 years, within 10 minutes I'd be like, oh no, this is too quiet, this is too boring. Like, without intensive therapy, I don't think I'll ever get comfortable with it just being quiet and boring. Yeah. And yet I crave it right now because I don't have it.
Right.
Oh, your dog is crying to come in.
Come on, kiddo.
So.
Oh, it's getting overcast again.
Hi, Lola. We don't have the Lola cam on today.
No.
She's a little too mobile today for the Lola cam to work. Podcast listeners, we do now have a Lola cam. I think you had said that it would probably be used mostly for Friday night
hangouts.
streams. Yeah. What else?
Hey there, young lady. Hey.
We will all just watch and listen to JB adore his dog. How about that?
Say hi.
I don't think she's gonna come up.
No.
She's been kind of like quiet lately.
Yeah, she has.
So I've got to call and get her scheduled to get a bath. She's a stinky girl.
Yep, she's ready for another bath.
Don't say it too loud. Make her nervous. Nails clipped too. She doesn't like that either.
No.
Best $30 we spend every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Anything going on that's not us complaining? Anything joyful? Anything exciting? Anything exciting? Anything kinky? I mean, if we got anything at all? No.
No. No, our life has hit the shit.
It's not as bad. It's not as bad as the worst. The worst was the hit by a literal fucking car.
Yeah.
And the then 16-year-old was in an actual car accident that crunched the front of the car. Like that was the worst.
No,
At the time that we had, I had just like with a few months prior lost my biggest client, and our finances were terrifying. No, we've definitely had it worse.
Yeah. You know, I saw a lot of people talking in the live chat about how they're not putting out pride flags and different things, and some folks who have had them stolen.
I'd love to put a pride flag out. I'm terrified where we live.
Yeah.
I think the best we could hope for is a little bit of vandalism in our front yard.
Yeah. You know, we had talked about it. Our neighbor.
Your new bestie neighbor?
My new bestie neighbor, yeah. They, when we first moved here, they had a pride flag out front. And even them, they do not put it out anymore in their backyard.
Yeah, I can see it from kind of our angle. You can see it flying over their pool.
From our angle, you can see it over their pool. But, you know, because of some other things being displayed.
So many Trump signs down our street.
In the neighborhood, you know, they won't put it out in the front either anymore. So it's sad.
Yeah, the last year, last year's Pride, picked up a couple of shirts from the Pride collection at Target for the 13-year-old that he loved. And then school, and he wore them all summer. And then school started, and he and I mutually, like, I didn't talk him out of anything. We both went. He said, "Mom, I don't think I can wear this to school." I said, "Sadly, you should be able to. There's nothing wrong with what's on your shirt." But yeah, I could absolutely see there being problems. Maybe not by the students, but by teachers, either being overly cautious or whatever. And I was like, I said, you should. And then that left us able to have the conversation about how you should absolutely be able to wear this, and this should not be considered a problem. And I'm your fucking mom who picked, who approved it and paid for it. So, clearly it's not, from my view, inappropriate. But the time we currently live in and the state we fucking live in, and I have tons of privileges as a cis het white lady. Like I don't take the time to think about my sexuality, so we'll go for, if somebody says I'm an ally and I'm an ally, that's what I'm shooting for, kind of deal. But I'm the only one in the house and so and even I war with the need to stay safe versus the need to not back down and to be visible. And I think if it was just you and I and not the kids, I'd be a little bit more like, fuck you, come vandalize my house. I'm gonna pop some cameras up and catch your dumb ass and whatever. But when it's my kids, like I take a pause, I take a beat. Like my job is to keep them safe, right? First and foremost.
I mean, it's scary because, so much went into making headway on so many things, and it feels like all at once taking a huge backswing.
Yeah, it's a pendulum swinging.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, backlash to the progress, which is not comforting or helpful in the now, but it is historically like that's the cycle. You get some amount of progress, and then you get the backlash, and then the pendulum swings again, and I don't know.
Yep.
No. But
yeah. Yeah, it's a hot mess.
I have been heartened by the amount of courts that have overturned some of the bullshit laws around the country.
Yes.
Regarding trans healthcare.
Yes.
And trans rights. That, part of me went, surely this won't stand up in court once a lawsuit, somebody's going to sue, because of course they are, they ought to. Surely this won't stand up. But then you still have that doubt of like, yeah, but
what if, yeah.
And seeing the headlines or they're being struck down. I have not invested the time to read about exactly why they're struck down, but just paying attention as a human adult in the 21st century, I know that sometimes they get struck down on technicalities, and lawmakers fix the technicalities, and then there you are with but sometimes they get struck down as, there's no way to redeem it, to come back in another version, so yeah. We don't usually talk about like newsy stuff, but this is nothing. This is a non sequitur bad segue. But I was thinking about headlines. Okay, let's go on the crazy train that is my thought process. We were talking about Pride based on the comments. We were talking about the trans stuff. The reason I could say that I knew about those things being overturned was because of headlines. Headlines made me think of what's in the news recently. The tin can in the ocean that was going to see the Titanic, and now they can't find it.
Yeah.
And I can't read too much about it or watch too much about it, because the idea of being in a literal tin can in the bottom of the ocean is like nightmare fuel to me. So I'm like, nope, I don't need more anxiety for things that'll never happen to me than I already possess. But there's some people who are like positive that they're not coming up, and then some people keep saying, like news outlets going, do they even know they're lost? Is it that they lost the ability to like track or sonar or know what's going on, and they think that they're on track and they're just oblivious? And I'm like, but as somebody pointed out online, the company being called Ocean Gate, like someone watched a reel. I think that was a total rant about what the fuck is happening with this tin can in the ocean, trying to go see the Titanic wreck. And they were like, you named your company Ocean Gate. Like, we add gate to the end of things that are problems.
Right.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah, I'm passively kind of seeing headlines and tweets and stuff that come across my feed, but I'm not investigating it because I need to be able to sleep at night. And there's certainly conversation to be had about was this the smartest thing that people could have done? And wow, money will buy you a lot of things, like a trip to the bottom of the ocean. Like those are conversations. I'm just over here going, I want there to be a miracle, and they get rescued and they get found. Please let there be, like, just please.
Yeah.
Please. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Silent Wing pointed out in live chat, the last I heard, they picked up banging sounds on sonar. I had seen a headline before we started recording that they had heard something. I hadn't even gotten as far as finding out what they had heard. And then, of course, by the time this podcast episode is out on Friday, we could know a lot more, good or bad.
Right.
Yeah. People in live chat are talking about moving to Canada. Look, I'm gonna need y'all to have more temperate climate, and then I might consider it. I had the same thought. Not that the UK is without its it has its own problems. And I was like, oh, I love going to the UK. It was an amazing trip as a tourist, as a visitor. Of course, it's usually pretty amazing. But then I remembered that because of the nature of where they're geographically located, the types of buildings they have, blah, 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 they don't have a lot of central AC. And I went, no, I can't. I can't do it. I can't. Yeah. But no. I would go on quite. Do I have a million things? Yes. Do they seem germane or appropriate to this space? Probably not. I have many, many thoughts about many, many things all of the time at the same time simultaneously. That sometimes just need to stay inside thoughts. They don't have to be shared with the world. Yeah. Not anything good. They're like, no, they're neutral. They're neutral thoughts. They're not positive. They're not negative. They're just like, oh, I could share all of these thoughts. And I'm like, but I don't really have to. Like, what would even be the point other than I'm just opening mouth and allowing the words to just bleh out.
I know.
Oh yeah, speaking of headlines and wild and crazy things in the news, Silent Wing in the live chat pointed out the orcas that are taking down yachts.
Really?
Have you have this?
No,
I haven't
haven't
paid too much attention to it just because there's not enough time. But when I see things about it, look, I am always sorry for any loss. I don't know if there has been, but any potential loss of life, that's sad and tragic and okay. But I find it hilarious that, according to the way I've heard it come across in the little bit I've paid attention to, that a female orca, something happened out in the water and she's pissed, and now she's organizing other orcas and I think even other whales like outside of their particular like species, is it? Like non-orcas, to attack large boats like yachts and like damage them. Like, it looks coordinated to people who study, like, marine, like, these animals. Coordinated, teaching them how to take out boats and yachts and stuff like that. And I can't remember, like, the precipitating event. Like, was it that she was harmed? Was her calf harmed? Like, something. There was something that has pissed off this orca.
The Talcoon have gone renegade.
Oh, my God. We just watched that. What was that from?
Avatar: Way of Water.
Yes, the Avatar: Way of Water. We just watched that, by the way. Like, yeah. I'm a little bit like terrified, but also like don't want to know too much because nightmare fuel. But also I'm like, go orcas, do what you got to do, girls. Just do what the organizing part is fascinating to me. But I haven't read enough into it or paid enough attention to like know any details. Oh, thank you, Taishu, for clarification in live chat. Taishu says, a yacht hit the female lead orca of a pod, and now they're protecting themselves as they see boats as a threat. As they fucking should. Okay. As they fucking should. But, yeah. It's wild. That's wild. Yeah, we did watch Avatar, the second Avatar. I have... Like, I could critique it, but I enjoyed it enough that I didn't care about my potential critiques.
Yeah.
Because do I find it too simplistic of a story? Kind of. Is it very much like noble, native, savage kind of vibe? Yeah. But also, is it sometimes nice to sit back and go, yep, that's clearly the bad guy over there. I'm rooting for the good guys. And then visually, I think it's stunning. Yes to all of that. I tend not to take certain types of media that I consume very seriously. Like, it's meant to be brain candy. I can be aware of things and I'm like, that definitely could have been better. And still, for me, I'm like, but I enjoy it as just fluff that was enough for me to go, okay, wait, when are the next movies coming out?
Right.
And I did not have that kind of reaction to the first movie. I watched the first movie not in theaters, but fairly soon after it first came out when you could watch it on like DVD or whatever. And I don't remember having that kind. I was like, oh, okay, that's a movie. And yes, it was very nice to have the clear bad guy, the clear, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so.
No. Could we go on? Of course we could.
Yep.
I do sometimes feel like, not that anything I haven't said is real talk, but okay. I do sometimes feel like we are not as helpful as we want to be because we've been very focused on our own shit the past couple of years. I sometimes feel like my well of ideas that are beneficial to other people more than beneficial to us, it's not dried up, but it's definitely down to a trickle. I think it's a creator thing. I think anybody who's making things for other people to consume in some way probably has some level of this on a wide spectrum. I do have is there a point to what we're doing? Doesn't matter. I know it matters. I get the comments, and this is not me fishing for compliments or validation, regardless of what I said at the top of the stream, because we do get those. We get the emails. We get the comments. People let us know frequently how we've helped them, and that certainly helps keep me going. But I also know that I said this ages ago, and I still feel it now. Because of the nature of our lives and the way we share information, there's been a lot of navel gazing for us. Like, ooh, this is a hard time for us. How does it relate to the outside world? Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm having existential crises left and right.
Yeah. Seems that way, doesn't it?
It does. Like, there's a part of me that just wants to like come up with stuff and talk about it outwardly and like it not be so personal and close and have distance from some of the things we talk about, but I accidentally set up my professional life to be ridiculously intertwined with my personal life. So
yeah. All right.
But yeah. So there we go.
Hey,
at least I'm not still crying. As podcast listeners, you missed the I got myself so worked up I started crying moment. That was all me. That was not any nobody did that to me. I did that to me.
Oh goodness.
So yeah, I think there needs to be adult beverages at Patreon game night this week. We maybe get some hard cider. Like it doesn't have to be crazy. Just like keep them in the fridge and like
Especially since we're not going anywhere now this weekend.
No, we're not. But we do need to work this weekend probably. But no, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So anywho.
Yeah. That's it. We're ending on a down note. I'm looking at the live chat right now, and they're talking about Marvel movies, MCU, and the Thor Love and Love and Thunder. I actually fucking loved that one. Not as much as I like Ragnarok. Ragnarok remains my favorite of the Thor movies. But it was Love and Thunder let me turn my brain off. And it was stupid and silly. And I went, okay. Like, would I reach for that one? No. If I'm putting one in, I'm putting in Ragnarok every time. Like, let's watch that one. Now I want to watch Thor Ragnarok.
Well, you know what? That might be a good break from what we've been watching the last couple nights.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we've been on a John Wick kick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't watch it with full concentration because there's way too much blood splattering going on, but I can like watch it enough to understand that somebody has pissed John Wick off and he's now going to let them know that they fucked with the wrong guy, and I'm here for it. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna go because I can keep talking, and that's, because of course we can.
Yep.
Thanks, y'all, for letting us have an entire hour plus of navel gazing. I know this was not helpful for anybody, but maybe it was a break from like your life for a hot minute. It'll be interesting to find out who we pissed off by doing this episode. You can never tell.
Right.
But yeah, we love y'all, and we're glad you're here with us. And hopefully we'll be back to whatever normal is for us next week.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.